a bucket full of quarters each month, making $8K.
What's up, everybody? It's Meet Kevin from California. Right now I am in Ohio. It just started snowing last night, and I came out here to collect coins at this coin laundry and understand how it's possible to make money on a laundry mat that was bought for $0. Now we'll talk details, but let's go to collecting some coins first. So I've always been fascinated by the idea of putting money into like a vending machine or an ATM or a laundry machine. When my parents moved to the United States from Germany, we didn't have a lot of money. So as a child, I remember the feeling of coins going into this and sliding it forward, and sometimes they get jammed, sometimes it doesn't work, and then hopefully 70% of the time the thing turns on. But I've never been on the other end of actually taking the coins out. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Now, one thing we had to do, this is thanks to YouTube, is we actually had to pre-open the coin cases here because apparently people were zooming in to the actual key, and people that are experienced in keys can make a copy of it just by looking at a 1080p picture zoomed in of the key. So in theory, people could come in here and come grab the coins themselves with keys they made at home, which is crazy. But anyway, so here's our first machine. I don't know, I personally, I don't use the first one, like the first stall in the toilet, so let's see if the other ones have more coins. Let's get the rest of these laundry machines. It's actually really, it's really satisfying, even though I just dropped 75 cents, because I feel like I'm winning at Chuck E. Cheese, and it's really like winning at investing life. But what blows my mind more is this. A lot of this is coming from a business that took zero money to start. It just took basically the balls to go in and go, I'm doing it. Look at this. This is amazing. And I'm pretty sure these were just, when were these emptied last? Like a couple days ago, yesterday? A day or two ago. Oh, that's amazing. We'll have to count these too.
Now, I really loved collecting these coins because to me, this was straight up mailbox money. Except it was laundry box money.
See, these are the ones that people like, right here, these large ones. Look at these. What are these? The triple loaders. You want to know where the money is? It's at the triple loaders.
You need some quarters? All right, we'll take them out. We'll make some money off this guy and sell him some quarters.
Make change.
Oh gosh. You want to make change with him?
Yeah, I'll make change.
Okay.
What do you got?
You're getting the real laundromat experience.
Now, as soon as this guy asked me to make change for him, I felt like my passive mailbox money became active money.
Oh, I haven't made change since I worked at Jamba Juice.
By the way, many of you know that most of my passive income comes from investing in real estate, learning from other real estate investors, and passing along that knowledge to you. You can see the links to my courses and in-person crash course events down below. And on screen here is Woody, who says, as a novice real estate investor with a few rentals before I've met Kevin, I have learned more new ways to invest in value deals in the last 2 months than I ever have before.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I don't see how doing this could get old. You know, I mean, you'd have to come. I mean, you might have to come here every other day, but this is fun. Now over here, you also have a change machine. Let's open that thing up. So this is the change machine. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of this doesn't end up at the bank. What ends up at the bank are the dollars, which the dollars come from opening up the change machine, which you can see here. You've got some change. Wow, somebody changed a 20 in here and some extra cash. And this is where the coins are, I believe. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. And so I guess you would just usually add to this. You would fill to this. So you would take your cash and fill this up. All right, well, let's go count the coins we have then. Should we take this?
Sure.
Let's take this. So here's a little bit of background. Brandon runs a YouTube channel called Investment Joy and posted some videos of him collecting coins from the laundromat. He's also posted some information about how much money the laundromat makes, but I wanted to meet him here in Ohio and find out, where did you get the money to buy the laundromat? Where are you making the rest of your money? What are you investing in? And why a laundromat?
And more importantly, how the heck did you do it with $0 out of your own pocket? But first, let's count some passive income.
So now I'm gonna go next door and do some counting with what I just collected. I did not dress for this. I thought it was gonna be like 40 or 50 and it's like 20.
It was 40 or 50 when you flew into town, and then it dropped down to 15.
So that was the mistake I made. All right, so we're coming in with my loot. It's a lot. That would have been a very happy day at Chuck E. Cheese. Okay, so, and we use quarters here, not like any kind of tokens or whatever. These are just straight up. I mean, that's like $2.50 right there in my hand. So let's go ahead and count this. I believe I have to hit power then start? Yep. Okay, power. Okay, yeah. Slide them down the oh, they don't go anywhere. So they gotta go in the hole, Kevin. Oh my gosh, it comes out of there fast. Wow. I mean, this is like passive income right here. This is what passive income sounds like. I like the sound of passive. It's mind-blowing to me that you could operate this business and come here and collect these coins with no money out of pocket. I mean, that's, how more American could that be? Oh. All right, here we go. This should give people hope. Wow, okay, so we have collected 574 quarters. I collected 574 quarters, so that's what, $1.30, $1.40, a little more? I'll do what you did in one of your videos, and we'll just say we'll put the correct number on screen. Okay, so now in theory, the money that I'm putting in this is now my earned money. This I'm just making change, so I'm still getting the dollars. So this is kind of like investing back into my business and not having to lug this heavy thing to the bank. Oh, I like that. I could do this more often.
All right, now let's find out exactly how this laundromat was purchased for $0 out of pocket.
This is a laundromat that I've bought. I have no money in it out of my own pocket. I bought it for $85,000, and when I say I bought it for $85,000, that's the total deal cost. That's not my cost. The seller carried $70,000 in financing, which means the deal required $15,000 down. That money didn't come out of me. I use private investment on everything I do. So I found somebody that I knew that had tons of money to spend and they wanted a little bit of a return. I messaged them. I said, would you guys want to buy a laundromat? And they said, cool, Brandon, that sounds fun. Let's go buy a laundromat. So they loaned me $40,000 to pay for the down payment and the rehab on this price. So out of my pocket, I'm still at zero. And I've got this laundromat. We spent $25,000 on renovations. I know it doesn't look like it. I know I get criticism all the time. Brandon, this place is a dump. But it's one of those things where I try and run all my businesses the exact same way without spending any money out of my own pocket, and two, I make the business support itself. So any of the money that comes in here that I should be paid goes right back into renovations and upgrading. And the problem is a lot of things are very expensive to run. To put new equipment in here, it's going to be about $120,000, the cost of several houses. So I have to make a choice. Would I want to spend money out of my own pocket on buying new equipment? Would I want to spend money out of my own pocket buying other houses? What's going to be the most beneficial thing for me, for my family, but also the people here at the laundromat? Would it make sense to go out and buy new equipment on financing, spend $120,000, spend $1,500 to $2,000 a month, and risk the business being closed? Or would it be better to have some dumpy washers and dumpy dryers for the next 6 months to prove that the business actually works, actually can make money, actually support the community here, and do it in a way that I won't foreclose on myself?
Now, what kind of experience does it take to become a laundromat entrepreneur?
When you first came upon the laundromat business, did you think, I don't know how to run a laundromat? What were you thinking?
Oh yeah, believe me, I thought, I don't know anything about laundromat.
Because most people, when they think about starting a business, they're like, oh, I don't know, and then they plan and they never actually do anything.
Well, see, did it. Yeah, I just did it. Don't know anything about dryers. I've done like 3 loads of laundry my entire adult life, and twice it was here when I brought clothes from my house to just make sure the dryers work. I don't know about any of this.
Did you make sure to wash here first?
Yes.
Okay.
I had tested the washers out and I dried here. So this is something I have no experience about.
Did you get motivated to let's get into laundromats because you could get the money?
Yes.
Zero money out of pocket. Basically.
I knew that there's apartments upstairs. I have risk mitigation. Over on my other laundromat that's not an open, there's apartments over there too. My risk on these buildings is essentially zero.
Even though you were borrowing everything?
Even though I was borrowing everything, my risk is essentially zero on them.
Because the apartments that come with it,
they'll pay for everything. So I can do this other business risk-free, or at least risk mitigated on my end. And I have this question, can I do it? Is this laundromat, business, real estate, vending thing, is it based on my knowledge and my ability to learn things? Or is it all pure luck?
It seems like most people will hear, okay, so a lot of debt, that's a lot of risk, you have no chance, like everything's just gonna, blow up in your face in the next recession. What's your response to that?
Well, I have played those scenarios because I was a real estate agent in 2006. I got my license in 2006, and I sat front row for the recession. And when landlords had flexibility in their rental prices, I can lower my rental prices by a lot.
How much would you say that people had to drop their rents?
During the recession, maybe 5 to 10%.
That's not a lot.
No, it's not. But you had to have this flexibility.
To accommodate.
To accommodate somebody that has just lost their job. They've lost their job, they're going through a hardship. Having some cash reserves or the flexibility to lower the rent just a little bit, wait a couple extra weeks on payment to sit down and really look at that person's situation. How can I help them be successful in this rental? And if you have that flexibility, you will do awesome.
So in other words, I think people who don't invest or who want to invest, who want to be entrepreneurs, but they're not yet, they're worried about all these worst cases. Yet what I continue to see as I travel around the country or talk to people much like yourself, it seems like entrepreneurs and people who are actually investing are really good at solving problems when they come up.
It's all about hustling. And I've told my kids, I've told my wife, I've told my investors, I tell people on YouTube, I am not too proud to do anything. What the thing is, from my perspective, 1, I'm not above doing any work myself. Yeah. 2, I want to at least try my best effort to get a good feel of what it takes to get done, so then I can provide advice to my contractors.
Now let's talk about some of the expenses associated with a laundromat.
The best tax write-off in America, right here.
A machine you can depreciate.
120%.
Wow. So speaking of accelerating these with bonus depreciation, essentially, then, what's the maintenance that goes into running a laundry? I see a couple out of order signs. You got no smoking, keep off the folding tables. What are some of the problems that you run into?
The biggest problem that I have here, it should be obvious if you watch the video, is out of service equipment. Now,
getting jammed or
it's just transmissions, parts, and things like that. And I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place trying to figure it out. There's a company that I can call and they charge $50 an hour.
Okay.
My preference,
which the labor rate here is not that high.
Yeah, it's $50 an hour is not bad for nationally, but in Ohio it kind of sucks. And I have this goal.
Because what do you pay handy folk here? Like $20 an hour?
Yeah, like $20 or less. And so my brother runs we did a video on YouTube where he finds appliances on the side of the road and fixes them.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. And so he finds appliances on the side of the road, he fixes them up, and then he flips them and sells them on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, those kinds of places. And he has a couple contractors that work underneath him. They show up when they feel like, they leave when they feel like, and he's trying to develop them into a relationship where they can transition from contractors to employees. He's not at that point yet, but he's kind of got that. And so this is kind of like the training for them to become full-time employees so he can potentially start his own laundry service company or vending equipment service company. This is their training field for equipment, and I hope they're not watching this, but they do a crappy job a lot of the times. Yeah.
Now let's talk about some other expenses the laundromat might experience.
20% of the quarters that are going in the machine aren't reading correct. There's an infrared a brake beam in there, and the brake beam's on the fritz.
Could somebody put a cardboard?
Yeah.
It's just an infrared sensor, come on.
Yeah, it's just an infrared sensor.
Okay, and now the good thing though that I see here is I don't see any full-time employees sitting here.
You are correct.
Tell me more about the joys of employees.
I avoid employees like the plague. I had this older gentleman, he was the CEO of an oil company, and he said anytime you can avoid an employee, you do it. He also was the largest Subway franchise owner in Southern Ohio. He owned 23 Subways at one time. And his whole idea was find any business that you can get into with the least number of workers for you. So he said, you need to have rentals, you need to have laundromats, you need to have vending machines, and you need to have storage lockers. And I'm working on the storage lockers right now because all of those things require such little labor on them, they're easy to scale. So looking at the laundromat, any way that I can get away from having full-time employees, I'm going to do it. It's also why I don't have fluff and fold here. I could double or triple the net income this produces if I took in laundry from other people.
Sometimes when great ideas come with more employees, the great idea isn't that great anymore.
Now, what about like building maintenance? I mean, you bought this, so you're stuck with dealing with the windows, the floors, the bathroom. You know, there's like a stain on the ceiling over here. Like, how do you handle all this, and what are the common things that you're up to?
I've got regular contractors that I've had the opportunity and privilege to work with for the past 6 years, and they come in and they do a lot of the maintenance. They do maintenance for some of the other landlords here in town, which is a really great relationship. I pay them decently. We've got a great relationship together, and they come in and do the work. They're also working at the trailer park for me right now, and they are knee deep into trailer park stuff, so we haven't been able to come here and finish up some of the extra rehab work.
Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, you should try to grind for a discount because you've been working with them so much. You know?
I'd like to take care of them. I've got a great relationship with a lot of these people in town. For better or worse, I know where they live. They know where I live. And it isn't an advantage to anybody to screw somebody over in a smaller marketplace. So I try to be friends with my contractors. I try to have a good relationship with the other investors in town, and we can all build together this symbiotic relationship. We help each other, we make money. I helped my one contractor get into his own house, a 6-bed, 2-bath house, paying a princely sum of $700 a month. And I know this is in Ohio, but I'll tell you right now, that house would go for about $3,000 easy.
Now, I asked if Brandon ever has any crime, and he went to tell me the story about when his coin pusher got broken into. I didn't exactly know what a coin pusher was. Here's a picture of a coin pusher. Now I get it. It's literally a coin pusher.
So when I had the coin pusher broke into, and they're sitting there counting the quarters on top of my washer machine after they've stolen them. And if you remember, I said that I set quarters out and no one had stolen them.
Yeah.
I'm able to zoom in enough, and when they were counting out the quarters, I counted the quarters. So I knew exactly how much they stole from me. So it's a really neat system that I've got.
How do they break into that?
It's not bolted to the floor properly. The guys, I don't understand why, but he's not bolted to the floor properly, and they can shake it back and forth enough that the alarm doesn't go off and shut the machine down, but enough to get some of the easy quarters to get off. So
what's your long run goal with these? I mean, you've got 3 laundromats now. You're thinking of adding a 4th at the mobile home park, just to cut off your competition.
Yeah. Really, I would like to package them up, cash out refinance, which is easy to do on a business like this as compared to a cheap little rental.
Anything under 100K is a lot harder to find.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to finance. But a business under 100K is a heck of a lot easier. And you can break off the actual business from the real estate.
Just based on cash flow.
Just based on cash flow. That's a lot easier to do. And it's why I also, let me make this clear, I don't cheat on my taxes, because that's the goal for this laundromat, is to be profitable. And when you do like an SBA loan on a laundromat, you have a profit multiplier of 5 times your income. So if you're cheating your laundromat, I figured it out, if you're cheating your laundromat, say $10 a day, that is $3,560 per year you're not reporting on your taxes. Which for your average Joe off the street, and I to be honest with you, I've met a couple laundromat owners that do that.
Well, it's also cash.
It's all cash. It's so easy to...
A lot of people will actually overpay for cash businesses because they think, well, I'm going to be saving 30-40% in taxes.
You're going to immediately takes the tax money out. Now the thing is, you have a competent CPA, and all this equipment can be depreciated very effectively. So there's major tax benefits to owning a small business, especially like a laundromat. But when it comes time to cash out refinance or to do that kind of thing, that $10 a day, as per the Small Business Administration, the SBA loans, that gets multiplied by 5 times.
So you're 15, 16K.
You're 15K for $10. And I don't know about you, I'd rather take a $15,000 refinance that has, because the interest is, you can write that interest off your taxes.
Yeah.
There's all these tax benefits to running the business the right way. I want to find somebody with passion, that they are all about a laundromat, and potentially partner with them and say, here's this laundromat, it's been cash out refinanced, I've financed the underlying mortgage, I've refinanced my partner out, this is Brandon's. And then find that version of me, however long down the road it is, that can be passionate about cleaning the gasket out of the laundromat, doing whatever it takes.
That might be why it's so hard for families to pass on wealth, and then the family doesn't care, because nobody else cares. You're passionate about it because you're building wealth with this.
And if my kids aren't passionate about it and they can't go into this big business,
have 4 of.
I have 4 kids, and I've told my wife, and my wife's on board with this. If my kids can't be passionate about cleaning a gasket out in a laundromat, which I can be passionate about because I see the long-term goal, I don't care about what happens to me in the next year or the next 2 years or the next 5 years.
Which reminds me about what Brandon said earlier.
I could go walk out these doors right now and get hit by a bus. I mean, poor Kevin could get hit by a bus too. I mean, it could happen.
Oh, I got ladder, by the way. That was so easy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, because I've been going back and forth, applying for different life insurances, and they keep emailing me well, you have to call this person, you have to call this 1-800 number, and I'm like, I don't have time for that crap. So it's literally been sitting in my email for weeks, and yesterday, right before going to bed, I go, let me look at this ladderlife.com or whatever it is. Yeah. Literally approved. And here, Apple Pay for your premium, your first $50 within 5 minutes. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
So I've got a nice fat life insurance policy.
Now, straight up, Ladder Life did not ask me to pitch this. Brandon recommended this company to me the day before at dinner, and I seriously didn't want to believe him, but the application was really easy, and it actually did take 5 minutes. I was blown away. So feel free to use the link down below if you're interested. Apparently, if you're in California, you get $10 if you use the link.
10 years to 20 years, that's what I'm concerned about. So the fact that Brandon had to spend an hour or 30 minutes going down to Dollar General, buying those toothbrushes and scrubbing it out with, that's not a big deal to me. But if my kids can't see that long-term goal that I've got to hustle, I've got to learn, I've got to be passionate, I've got to track these things down, my kids aren't getting the laundromats. They're not getting my rentals.
It seems like you've got a lot of your it seems like you've got a lot of your focus on the long term, where I think there's so much societal focus now on the short term, where people are counting how much they're making every minute. Yeah. Now, I've been watching the camera, and obviously we've been in the laundromat somewhere around 2 hours now. There have been just a couple people. When does the traffic come?
It usually is in the evenings, and Tuesday is technically my absolute slowest day. Yesterday was pretty busy. We looked at the quarters there, and it was pretty high for Monday. Usually Monday through Friday, a laundromat does one amount of money, and then that money usually they do on just Saturday, and then they do a repeat on Sunday. So your Monday through Friday traffic's garbage. Then your Saturday and Sunday traffic's great.
So there you have a little bit of insight into the coin laundry business and how Brandon was able to buy this building for $0 out of pocket, which he had the experience doing this one because he bought a different set of laundromats for $0 out of pocket. So it really goes to show what you can make happen in America with a good reputation, the effort and energy to get out there and go hustle, and the motivation to just say, you know what, let's just get in and do it.